Hi besties, it's Krystal, your Leo bestie. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are coming back, welcome back. I love having you guys here, and I am so thankful that you guys were able and clicked on this episode. I left you guys off last week at step number 16, and this week I'm going to move on with step number 17. I did want to add a disclaimer that these steps are, you don't have to do them in any order. I am just posting them in this order because it is the order that I took in healing my inner child. Just kind of going down the steps that I took that helped me. And as maybe if you are following along, you know that these steps are going to work for you in the way that they do, because at the end of the day, this is your journey and you get to do what works best for you. I just hope that my steps that I took are becoming a roadmap for you that help you along your healing journey. I left you guys off last week on step number 16, which was journaling, and I just want to give Lori a quick shout out for recording that episode with me. It was so much fun, and also if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And then if you have watched it, offering to do the group is still there. So if you want to do that group of journaling and free writing, whatever you want to call it, with me and Lori, send me a message. We are still in the works of making that happen. So if you want to join, send me a message. If you are a little shy, I get it. It can be hard to take that next step into stepping into something different. So I'm gonna say something and hope that this motivates you, is bet on yourself and know that you are okay throughout this entire process. And I really hope that you join. If you are out there thinking if you should or not, this is your sign to do it. You won't regret it. Of everything, guys, I'm just going to dive right in. So step number 17 does go along the lines of what I talked about with Lori. She hit on the subject a lot, and so what better way of introducing this next topic than by making it one of the episodes. So for this week, I'm going to be talking about meditation. Meditation, I have mentioned in my past videos how when we get stressed or we're getting anxious, whatever it is, there's a part in our brain that is called the amygdala, and I've talked about it previously in my videos. So specifically why I want to bring attention to the amygdala is because that part of our brain is the one that is in charge of stress. And so when you are consistently experiencing stress and anxiety and depression, that could mean, and I'm not a doctor, guys, it's just studies and what I've read, is that people that do experience stress and anxiety quite often have a bigger amygdala than those that aren't experiencing stress or by anything else. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because meditation has been proven to help with shrinking amygdalas. It just takes practice. And so I just wanted to give you guys some quick information about meditation and why it works with that part of our brain that gets us to be in stress all the time. And actually, I want to do something real quick before I even start mentioning things about meditation. I just want to do something real quick with you guys. So I want you just to, wherever you are sitting down, I want you to pay attention and just put attention to your head. And so you know where your head is, and then I want you to put attention to your jaw. And then if you're clenching it, whatever you're doing with it, if you're smiling, whatever it is, just put attention to your jaw. Next, I want you to put attention to your chest. And after that, I want you to put attention to your lower part of your belly. And then after that, I want you to put attention to your knees. Lastly, put attention to your feet. You just meditated. That is how easy meditation can be to start off with. When I first started, I am going to give you guys this little background story of me. When I first started meditating, I would do the mindfulness, which mindfulness is a part of meditation, mindfulness meditation, whichever you want to call it. But I started with meditating versus just being mindful. Mindful is more of what we did right now, which is a body scan, just to be mindful of areas in our body. Mindfulness can also be that five finger technique that I've told you guys about. So like the 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel. That is mindfulness as well, because you are putting focus onto something. And then with meditation, it's bringing focus to your breath. So that's the two differences between there, is that mindfulness you can do at any time of the day, is just put attention to anything in front of you, put attention to a body part of yours, and that you are already being mindful. You're taking your brain out of the past or the future, because if we are constantly stressed and our amygdala is freaking out, that means we are living in the past or we are living in the future. When we are stressed or when we are anxious, those are the two things, is that we're living in the past or we're living in the future. Give you guys the backstory. So when I first started meditating, I would put on guided meditations, and I still do this. I am still learning. It's a learning process to meditate. So I started with like 5 minutes. From 5 minutes, I went on to 10. And then after 10 minutes, I would start falling asleep. And I remember I would get so angry. I would get mad. I'd be like, why am I falling asleep? I want to meditate. I want to be able to experience what people say of that quieting the mind. And then not until like someone explained to me, like, that is meditating. Your body, if you fall asleep during meditation, your body is telling you that it is tired. So if you fall asleep during meditation, take that as a sign that your body just needs rest. And if you fall asleep within that time, like, don't be me and get mad. Take it as like, oh, like, I'm resting. I think a lot of the times we can't rest because, at least for me, a time I would rest, it was like, you can be doing this, you can be doing that. So just keep in mind that you can rest. Allow yourself and give yourself permission to rest. So if you are someone that is meditating and you fall asleep, then great. That is amazing. Get that rest, get that time in. One thing that I do now, because I like meditating on my lunch during work, is I put on the alarm clock, because I do end up, I still fall asleep, guys. Like, I feel like I'm recovering from years of tiredness, of stress. So my body is just relaxing and learning to live in the present moment versus my body living in the past. So I will just go ahead and talk with you guys about the notes that I wrote down about meditation. When we meditate, we do change our brain. We're going to change the structure in our brain. So we're going to change our attention, we're going to change our emotions, and then we're also going to change our self-awareness. Something that I had to work on, because when we are not being mindful, or when we are just in constant that wired robot state, we go into a mode that is called the default mode network in our brain. That's when the daydreaming starts. That's when we start trying to predict the future or thinking about the past. So when we are in that state of the default mode, just think about it like you're in default. You're just you're doing these things without even being aware that you're doing them, because of how defaulted and how much we are so used to being in this daydreaming state. But that is what is causing us stress. And that part of ourselves that causes that daydreaming is connected to the way that we think of ourselves, and then it also is connected to our mental health. So this is where depression and anxiety sit, is in this default mode. So think about it like this: if you're constantly daydreaming, you're probably not being self-aware of how it is that you feel about yourself, or you're probably just, that's why you're so anxious, that's why you're depressed, is because you're living in this constant state of default mode. So with meditation, it does, over time, it does help shrink that part of our brain, which is the amygdala. It helps shrink it, and it gets us to be more in the present. The same, so speaking of the amygdala, I've talked about it in my past videos, but with the amygdala, that is the part of our brain that is in charge of our fight or flight. So that's something to think about, is if you're constantly being triggered, or if you're constantly anxious, if you're constantly stressed, then meditation or mindfulness might be very, very good for you. So in our lives, there's always a negative, there's always a positive. So that would be considered the negative, is that default mode. What is the positive side, which is the opposite side, is called a positive network. And this is the action network. That is the one where you are here and living in the now. There's no past, if there's no future, you're just here and you're in the now. And I am working on this, guys. I dedicate every single day to meditate, and I can tell you guys that that stress and that little daydreaming aspect of my life is going more and more away. But it's like practice. It's, you have to keep practicing to get good at something. And I will tell you guys, like I told you guys, I started with 5 minutes, I went on to 10. I recently was doing 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, like, I would wake up. And then now I'm at the point where I can do 30 minutes of meditation, because I time myself. Again, I do it on my lunch, or I do it before I go to sleep, or I do it when I wake up. So I'm always putting a timer to make sure that I don't go to sleep, because my body is still recovering from all the trauma that it had. So yes, I might fall asleep sometimes, but that 30 minutes that I dedicate, it really is helping me. And I've seen the difference in many, many parts of my life. And I just want to keep getting good at it because I know that my 5 minutes turned into 30. So I know that my 30 can turn into an hour. Like I know people that meditate for like 2 hours a day. I hope that one day I can get there and be able to dedicate that much time to just quieting the mind, because once you get to that state, it's like you want to go there because you get tired of hearing your brain just overthinking and that daydreaming. And so the more that you practice this and the more that you get there, the easier and the more that you will like that feeling of having that quiet time. And it's really a space where you get to learn who you are. This is when you get to see what pushes my buttons, what is it that I'm overthinking about. And last week, if you watched my episode, Lori touched on it too, is journaling can be a form of meditation as well, because you're putting that mindfulness into your journaling, and it's distracting your mind from thinking all these other daydreaming possibilities in our brain. So I will tell you guys, try it out. Try it. I am going to recommend an app, recommend this app for everything, and I'm going to keep recommending it for the rest of my life because it has really helped me in being able to meditate. It has guided meditations. If you're someone that can't get focused into meditation, do a guided one. That's what I'm still doing, guided meditations, because I am still learning. And the more that you tell yourself, like, I'm learning, it's okay. Like, just keep betting on yourself. And the more that you do it, the easier that it will get. If you guys have any questions about meditation, or if you guys want to give me some information about meditating, I would love it. Trying to get to the point where I don't need to do guided, but you know what? For right now, it works for me and it gets me to that place of relaxation. So I am going to use it until I don't need it anymore. And I know that I will get there. It's just going to take time because it's something new that I've never done. Recently, I started doing it more often. And so just set that time aside. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be two. It can be 5 minutes a day, as small as 5 minutes. There's even meditations on YouTube that you can search, and they're for 3 minutes. It just set that time aside, even for mindfulness. Of if you're at work or wherever you are, like just be mindful of what is around you, or do that body scan. Like, let me see where my head is. Let me see where my jaw is. Let me see where my chest is, and just take deep breaths as well. It's like if you are in a distress situation, it's like start asking yourself, or set yourself a reminder of, am I breathing? Because the more that you start doing these things, how I said, I know I sound like a tape recorder, guys, but it really is like you just have to keep trying. And I'm here for you guys. I'm betting for you guys as much as you're betting for yourselves. I'm on your side of betting for you as well. So if you guys have anything else that you guys want to add to this meditation series, it was a quick and video, but I will leave you guys there. And I will just end on a quick prayer by thanking God for this amazing video, for having me here, for having you watch this video. I am so thankful and grateful for you for watching this video to the very end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with someone that you think could benefit from hearing it. I love you guys so much. Remember that every single day is a new opportunity to grow. I love you guys, and I will see you guys on the next. Bye.